Well, Tim, that's all for now.
Mike, thank you very much indeed. Just coming up to 11:20. As we've been hearing, the biggest teaching union, the NUT, is expected to back plans for a series of strikes this summer. Delegates at the union's annual conference in Harrogate are set to support proposals to ballot members on industrial action over changes to pension schemes. Well, another of the teaching unions, the NASUWT, is also meeting this weekend. At their conference in Glasgow, teachers will condemn what they call the excessive use of observation in the classroom. Let's go to that conference now, and we can speak to Claire Colling to talk about the motion she's putting to the conference. Thank you for joining us. What's wrong with teachers being observed?
Firstly, I'd like to say that NASUWT are not opposed to teacher observations, and we support the national statutory framework for performance managing teachers, and that does include lesson observations. However, what is of great concern to our members is the fact that many observations are taking place outside these regulations in the forms of learning walks, drop-ins, dipstick observations, and all these observations are putting unnecessary stress.
Learning walks and dipstick observations, what are they?
Well, it's where you, for example, and it's not always the leadership team that come in and observe lessons. Very often you might have people who are not, who do not have qualified teacher status coming in to make a professional judgment about your teaching, which is often punitive, coming in and making a snapshot decision on your teaching, which we find is not respecting the professionalism of a teacher.
Okay,
and
so the quality of the people doing the inspection is one area, but what about the idea that people should give you advance warning of an inspection? I mean, that surely defeats the point, doesn't it? Because if teachers know something is happening, they can prepare and maybe change the way they teach.
Exactly. Under performance management regulations, under the statutory regulations, yes, that is the case. However, a lot of observations aren't conducted like that, so you might not have any prior notice of when that observation is going to be. And of course, that does create a lot of unnecessary stress and additional workload.
Well, when you talk about the stress, just give us an idea of how this does affect your lives, your teaching lives.
Well, you're living on sort of tenterhooks all the time, wondering who's going to come into the classroom, what's going to happen to you, and also the fact that you don't know if that person is going to have the same kind of teaching style as yourself. You know, they might see that something that you're doing in your lesson might not be the way that they would teach a lesson. So in that respect as well, your professionalism as a teacher is very much in the firing line.
Is it always as nuanced as that, though? I mean, you as a teacher, you must have come across people who weren't perhaps as good at teaching as they should have been, and don't you think that maybe teachers need to confront that sometimes?
Well, the whole spirit of performance management is the fact, and it's a statutory regulation, is the fact that that is there as a developmental and supportive process. And it's there to guide teachers and help teachers, and you know, it shouldn't be punitive. You should have the chance to team teach, to go and observe other teachers, to work collaboratively, because that is how you get the best for your pupils. And you're not going to get the best for your pupils if your professionalism is constantly put into question, and if you are constantly feeling stressed.
OK, Claire Colling, member of the NASUWT in Glasgow, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning here on BBC News. Parts of England and Wales are still shrouded by smog, a day after the government issued air quality warnings. Let's